All right, we're back with part two. Example two is we're going to actually get into some, well, these conversions exactly, but let's get right into it. What the heck? Uh, convert each of the left sides in the in example one into the units on the right side to check your answers from example one, right? Now, probably if you were asked to do this, you could probably do it, but you'd probably use some sort of technology help, right? You'd use an app on your phone or you'd use a calculator button. My favorite one is Google. Love the Google. We want to put in 36 inches into meters. So I just type 36 inches, if I can type, inches in meters. And their little Google translation things comes right up there. Look at that. 36 inches is 0.91 uh, meters, and that's it. Now, of course, you're not going to have access to this on a test or an exam, right? But when you're doing your homework or out in the real world, doing out in the real world stuff, you're probably going to use Google as your conversion thing, or an app on your phone, or whatever other conversion thing you've got. Now, of course, we have to be able to do a little bit of the math behind this. It's not all fun and games, of course. Um, so how would we do it? Well, there are conversion factors, right? So what we can do is we'll look up in a chart somewhere, and you've got one on your note, a conversion between inches and, well, in this case, it was millimeters, right? So I take the inches and I can multiply by 25.4 to get the answer in millimeters. So 1 inch. Let me just write that down somewhere. Where is it? Our conversion factor is 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. Now notice we're kind of worried about that because we wanted the answer in meters and we've got it in millimeters, but that'll work out fine. Now I've got 36 inches. Well, how do I get from 1 inch to 36 inches? Well, I'm just going to multiply that by 36, right? I'm going to 24.5 times 36, and I get an answer, which is 914.4 millimeters. And of course, then I need to be able to switch it back into meters, right? I need to know my metric system as well. So millimeters to centimeters is just one decimal place, right? That many millimeters is 91 centimeters, and then two more to get it into meters, and then we've got what we had before. Okay, so it's all fine, and we're going to do this a few times. So the next one, feet in centimeters. So I'm going to go back to my table. Feet in centimeters. Feet in centimeters. Well, there's feet and meters, and that should be just fine. I should be able to go feet and centimeters. Um, it said 1 foot was 0.3 meters, which of course I can change that to centimeters. That's no problem. 1 foot is 30 centimeters. Ah, yes, 30 centimeters. 1 foot is 30 centimeters. That's like a regular ruler size. 1 foot is 30 centimeters. And then to change it to 6 feet, well, I'm going to multiply that by 6. 30 times 6, 180 centimeters. And that seems reasonable because 6 feet tall is how the height of a fairly tall man. 180 centimeters, that sounds fine as well. Um, and again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look up a conversion factor, and then off we go. Um, conversion factor, off we go. Where is conversion factor? Conversion factor, miles and right there, miles and kilometers. We had mentioned that one already. 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers. But I want 4 miles, so what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply by 4. I'm going to multiply by 4. And notice that we were right with all of our example ones so far. This one, hopefully we got a conversion factor. Do I got pounds and kilograms? Pounds and kilograms. It was 100 kilograms, 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 grams, kilograms. Right there. 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. And I actually had used that one already. So 100 kilograms is 100 times that, isn't it? That's 220. And we can check these all on the Google. I'm going to go back and I'm going to check one on the Google right now. So notice that here's our conversion on the Google. This was a mass one, and we had kilograms, 100 kilograms, and we wanted to change that into pounds. So we could change that and get that real quick, 220, and we were right bang on the money. Now, at some point, if you're using a conversion table, you're going to run into one that you don't have the conversion for. You don't have the conversion for it, right? So if I look back on this one, millimeters and tablespoons, it's not there, right? Milliliters are in here somewhere. Gallons are in there, liters, but no tablespoons, right? So you're going to have to look up a connection. And we did, right? We said, look, connection. 1 tablespoon is 15 milliliters. Well, okay, let's write that down. 15 milliliters is 1 tablespoon. Tablespoon. And we want to know, though, how much is 10. And notice that it doesn't connect nice here. This isn't very fun at all. And this gets into a second way that I like to do these conversions, is using a proportion. If I have milliliters here and tablespoons there, there's my connection. And I know this is 10 and this is X here. Well, I can set up a proportion. 15 is to 10 as 1 is to X. I can cross multiply. 15X equals 10. Divide by 15 on both sides. This is much better. And that's 2/3. And it's funny, the Imperial system, the American system, is usually in fractions, like 2.5 cups, not 2.5 cups. And so it's nice to be able to do this exactly. This proportion is a nice way to do it. We'll maybe do one more like that later. 2.5 cups into liters. Well, what was the connection? Well, notice I'm just going to use Google a couple of times here. I'm starting to lose interest in doing these conversions. You're probably pretty good at them, I'm hoping. So the next one was cups, which is, well, it's not a mass. Cups is a volume. Cups, and we had 2.5 cups. And that is in liters. 0.59. Good. No problem. Now notice, I think that one, there actually was a conversion on the table, conversion factor on the table, I believe. Cups. Do you see cups? Oh, maybe there was no cups. Maybe we had to use the Google. Looks like we did have to use the Google there, so good thing we Googled. This one, 1/8 of an inch, is equal to so many millimeters. I suppose we could go back to Google, right? How am I going to put 1/8 in there, though? And notice it's not volume. 1/8 of an inch is a length. And I want it in inches here. And this is supposed to be millimeters. And there's that 1 inch. I guess I could just get out my calculator and divide those by 8, but look at this. This is pretty slick. And it automatically does it for me. Oops. 1/8 of an inch is 3.175 millimeters. Pretty slick. hopefully we can get the Google to come with us wherever we want to go. 12 ounces in grams. Ounces in grams, which one's that? Not fuel consumption, it's a mass, right? Ounces, and it was 12 ounces. 12-ounce steak, right? 12-ounce steak in grams is a 340-gram steak. 340 grams. Lovely. And all of these are rounded, right? They're all approximate. Okay, let's get into the last example here real quick. Nice spoons. When working with areas, we often must convert square units. So 35 square inches is how many centimeters squared. So obviously sometime in the chapter we're going to be working with areas. Well, what's 1 square inch worth? So if that's 1 inch and that's 1 inch, how many centimeters squared is that? Well, I know that 1 inch is 2.54. 2.54 centimeters. We figured that out before. This is 2.54. So how many centimeters is this? Well, it's going to be 2.54 times 2.54 centimeters squared. Whatever that is, it is 6.45 centimeters squared. So 1 square inch is 6.45 centimeters squared. So then 35 square inches is 35 times that, right? And we can sort of do this on our own. This is, where's my calculator? Calculator. Do I got a calculator? Sure I do, right there. 35 times 6.45. 222.75. Centimeters squared. Similarly, kilometers and square miles, right? This would be, the area of a farm or something like that. So if this is a kilometer and this is a kilometer, 1 kilometer squared is how many square miles? Well, we need a conversion factor, don't we? Well, let's go back and get a conversion factor from kilometers to miles. Kilometers is 0.6 miles. Kilometers is 0.6 miles. So if that's 0.6 miles, this is 0.6 miles, what's a square kilometer? It's 0.6 times 0.6, which is 0.36 square miles. So square kilometer is 0.36 square miles. And so if I wanted 4.5 of those, I multiply that by 4.5, and I get my answer, which is not very many square miles. 1.62 square miles. Say, well, okay, why didn't you just look up on your conversion table there? Where's your conversion table here? Because look there's a square. Where's a square mile? Miles. Well, maybe we don't have a square mile in here. I thought we had kilometers and miles, and we got square feet and square inches, so some of those we could do automatically, right? The first question, we converted from square inches to centimeters. There's that 6.5 factor that we figured out. 6.5 factor, right? We said it was 6.45, but they are using a conversion factor. 1 square inch is 6.5 centimeters squared. They didn't have square kilometers to square miles, but guess who does? Yes, they do. Look at this. Area. Square kilometers, and then it has hectares, but we don't want hectares. We want square miles. And we didn't want 1 square kilometer. We wanted 4.5 square kilometers, and it says 1.7. Now, what do we have? We had 1.6 and a little bit. Guess who's more accurate? Yeah, the Google's even more accurate than our technique. So there you go. Yeah, the Google works also for areas. If you have it, use it. If not, we'll use this technique of finding our conversion factor. And our conversion factor there was 0.36. Okay? That's it. Kind of a long start, but it should be an easy lesson. You'll have to go back to the back and grab another textbook. The textbook is kind of a reddish textbook, and it's got the name College and Apprenticeship Mathematics. That's what the CAM in your homework means. That's the red textbook. Okay, and that's it for the first lesson. Stay classy, MCT4C.